For the first time in what feels like forever, the Georgia Pecan Growers Association got to hold its annual conference down in Perry recently. It's a time for growers to fellowship, see the latest equipment, and get updates about the industry, something that's very important, especially after more than a year of not having that option.
Just like anybody, producers and the growers in the state have been isolated just like everybody else, and actually even more so isolated than usual, I'd say. They're used to being able to get together and have fellowship and talk about production practices, talk about production issues that they're seeing each season, and they haven't been able to get together for a year and a half. So this has been pretty critical for both mental health and just the fellowship of the growers organization. And just how that affects each grower's production overall. I mean, it's really pretty critical.
McLeod says they were a bit worried about attendance, but they quickly realized producers and industry professionals were more than happy to get together.
It's been really well received to go ahead and open the doors back up and get together in person, much more so than we imagined, actually. So we always do a pre-registration before the conference, and this is actually not a very good time to host a conference for farmers. They're very busy right now, but regardless of the time frame, they were willing to come to it and get together, and our pre-registration numbers were excellent. It was as if we were hosting it in March again, and as if COVID didn't exist right now, just because everybody is that excited to get together.
Excited to get together, yes. Excited for this upcoming season, maybe not so much. According to Wells, this year isn't looking like it's going to be a good one for growers.
The pecan market that we're dealing with now is much less than what we were dealing with a few years ago when we had the market with China. And so the profitability of pecans is not what it was. And this year, the crop load on the trees is much less. Last year was a really big crop. We were 2 years coming off the hurricane. The trees really responded and came back. We had a really big crop last year. I think it was around 142 million pounds is the official estimate for Georgia. And we knew with that big of a crop, it was likely to be a little bit lighter crop this year, and that's indeed what we see.
Typically, when there's lower supply, prices tend to go up. But unfortunately, Wells says that's not the case this year.
It used to be that, when we had a big crop in Georgia, you could expect prices to be lower, and then when we had a short crop in Georgia like we had this year, prices would be higher. That used to be the case, but now the biggest thing kind of throwing a wrench in that is the nuts that are imported from Mexico. So there's a lot of nuts being imported from Mexico, and so sellers can kind of fill up a lot of the volume with that. And that is going to affect the price a little more.
However, all hope is not lost. According to Wells, U.S. demand for pecans continues to rise. Reporting in Perry for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.